Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Too Many Men. My name is Alison Lucan. We're so happy to be here. Life has gotten a little bit in the way, and we'll talk about why in a second for very, very good reasons. But with a special shout out to Katie Spence, who said, "Where's the show? I miss it." Here we are. We, of course, are delighted to be joined by folks. I am scouring the internet. Someone needs to put this up there. And I'm saying this not just for myself, but for the people. Sara motherfucking Civian on a panel at the MIT Sloan Sports Analytic Conference, slaying. You looked stunning. I have no doubt that your words were even more so. Sara, tell us about this awesome experience and how the hell are you?
Oh, thank you so much. I'm fantastic. I got to be up there with Patrick Burke, who is an awesome guy who is the VP of Player Safety and has been an advocate for LGBTQ plus rights in hockey forever. You can look up his story for more info on that. It's Brian Burke's son. They're Harrison Brown in heated rivalry in the club scene, mind you. First trans athlete in North America and played for the NWHL before transitioning. He's fucking awesome. I was starstruck because I followed him on social media forever, but he was just awesome. Madison Packer,
Legend.
the absolute legend, and Bane Pettinger, who's awesome, the agent of Jamie Benn and several others, and also came out as gay a few years ago. So yes, we had all LGBT and T on the panel, so that was
That's
cool.
awesome.
A nice twist. But just sitting around those people and how just well spoken they are about issues that directly affect them and like I loved Harrison the way he could be so emotional but so composed.
Mm.
Like something about that really inspired me. So shout out to everybody. I was glad to be a small part.
That's such a great point because while I know we want to continue to make more space for our transgender friends, it's for a million reasons we aren't always able to celebrate them in their actual selves. And so I think that's awesome. I'm putting you on the spot a little bit. Is there any one takeaway or any one aha moment you had from the panel?
Honestly, yeah, I know I get so angry and like I've been like part of the reason we love this podcast so much is because we can truly vent and say exactly what we're thinking and how messed up everything is. But to be around people, especially Patrick, who's like the VP of player safety, and knowing he is working within the league to make it a better place and a more accepting place, and that he also shares our qualms, but he has a really productive outlook and is actually doing stuff. Someone like Bain is actually working directly with players. People like Madison and Harrison are literally just like giving their perspective and growing on the PW side and in the larger sense with Harrison's role in Heated Rivalry and him as an actor. And it's cool to see that it's not just screaming into the void and that people are here and they're staying, you know?
That's awesome. And I do want to give a special shout out to all the haters who came after us after last pod to that point, Sara, because you're telling on yourselves that you don't follow us and you didn't listen to the pod because you're saying things that we actually talked about. So we don't care. Have fun.
Really.
We would not be Too Many Men without the incredible. Did y'all see we have Too Many Men bucket hats now? What? And also on the sneaky, Shayna Goldman is elevating her upcycling. I literally messaged her like I'm going to out myself here in the middle of a press conference because Piper and I saw one of your latest creations that was a blanket turned into a sweatshirt. Shayna, you're not doing big drops, but you're doing some sick drops. Say hi and tell us about this creative genius that you're undergoing.
Oh my God. Hi. This is this is what I love. The blanket sweatshirts are so fucking cozy. They are these knit blankets that they're two-toned. On one side, it's like the inverted color scheme, which is really cool on a lot of them. So I take them. I would like to use more of them in like with the sleeves, but they are awkwardly small. A lot of them, they're like 50 by
Yeah,
60.
yeah.
But so I will have a drop this weekend with a handful of bags and then three blanket sweatshirts. One's Mighty Ducks, one's a Yankee sweatshirt, and one is a Red Wing sweatshirt. And this one actually might be my favorite because it's a Stanley Cup sweatshirt. So on the front, it has the Stanley Cup the year they won with the logo, and on the back it's just like parts of the Red Wings logo. So
Wait, you posted this, right? You posted a picture of
yes,
this.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think I finished that one yesterday because it's the only one that's a crew neck, and like there's tags on it, like tags that were on the blanket. Like I try to preserve as much as I can, and I have a stack of more blankets to do. I think I have a Blue Jackets one to go. I have a Capitals one. I might try to make a jacket out of because it's actually big. And some New York Giants ones too. So just fucking around with those a little bit, and then we'll get into the playoff stuff soon.
And all the while covering the trade deadline to the nth degree and just crushing it on every radio and internet podcast imaginable. Shane, I'm gonna have to see if I can get one of our Kraken blankets and I'll send that out to you. I just, as you were
God,
talking,
please.
realized I owe you something else that we've talked about offline. But
yes, and since that has been tested,
yes,
we did test it because we're having PW merch now. Like I need to say I have been searching high and low for PW stuff to flip, and this year I was lucky enough to find a rally towel for the Golden Eyes from their opening night, which was flipped into a bag and was sold immediately. I have a Scepter sweatshirt that I think I'm going to make into something patchwork because it's very small and I want to like make it really cozy. And I got the original PWHL Minnesota stitched sweatshirt, the gray with the purple embroidery. It's so classic. It's so nice. I don't know what to do with it yet. It has a couple stains, so I'm going to figure out like the best way to do it. But I'm finally getting some women's hockey merch in here and I'm so excited.
And what did you just buy for yourself?
Oh my God, I got the Seattle Torrent sweater. I am obsessed. So now I officially have gear for like the logos I care about the most, which is Montreal, Seattle, and Boston. Plus, of course, I have Sirens gear because I mean, I'm going to that game. I'm going to be decked out. I'm so excited. I got merch for myself for it. Rich and our best friend Chris, they have hats to wear and sweatshirts. So they are like over the moon about going to this. It's going to be so much fun. And it's fucking sold out. So like the vibes are impeccable in the PW.
They are. And Sara, apologies for the Torrent beating your fleet, but they're still in the first place spot. So it's fine.
I mean, I'm going wherever Hillary Knight's going. That's what I've decided. So
this is true.
Put my talents there too.
She's literally our leader and our queen. All right. Let's
And wait, the game last night. Can you
Yes.
tell us about the game last night too? Because the comeback was incredible, but can you give us like a vibe check on everything about that?
Oh my God. The vibe was insane. Like the Seattle fans are just so good. And like they wanted something to cheer for. And as you said, Shayna, the Torrent were down like most of that game. And when Michaela Grant-Mentis, beast mode, scores a shorthanded goal, like the place erupted. And then when Danielle Serdachny scored the game winner, it got even louder. And then they counted down the final 10 seconds of the game. And it was just insane. And I'm so happy for the Torrent. They're obviously without Hillary Knight. They're obviously without Hannah Bilka. They're struggling. They're in 8th place, last place in the league, 4-game losing streak. But maybe they can start to put it together. Maybe this is the evolution of trying to put together an expansion team in a schedule that's been so stop-start. We'll see. We had a bra toss. It was Women in Sports Night. It was so good. Kayla Barnes bobblehead night. We love a Kayla Barnes Buckeye bobblehead. So it was great. We had a lot of fun.
It was such a good game. It's just so exciting. I love it. I feel like every time you tune in, you're just seeing like more viewers every time you open up like the YouTube streams. You watch the Sirens the other day.
Yeah.
They're bumping, like the attendance is finally starting to click, and then you watch the games itself and it's like Serdachny, I was so stoked for her. Like I feel like she's going to be such a star, and it's like you see it kind of coming together, and sometimes it takes a little bit of spite, right? Like you don't make Team Canada, you're a last minute cut, like now it's your chance to shine, and I feel like it just adds so much more to it.
Shayna, I feel like this is a podcast fueled by spite. So yes, absolutely.
I mean, honestly.
All right, let's dive into it. We're going to stay on the women's side, but Sara, what time is it?
It's time for Bit Show News.
I'm not even going to ask you if you have the triangle. We've assaulted the people's ears enough. We're going to move on. All right.
It's hidden somewhere, not lost.
Obviously, the trade deadline has come and gone. That's going to be the bulk of our hockey talk. So Bito News stays focused on the PWHL. And Shayna, you mentioned some of the insane growth that's going on. In addition to the Garden being sold out on April 4th, where the Sirens face off against Seattle, the TD Garden is also sold out on April 11th when Boston takes on Montreal. Everybody watches women's sports. I mean, one of these games is in each of your backyards. Sara, let's start with you. Just in a landscape for sports like Boston is, for the women's game to be just commanding and demanding as much space as possible to pack in their fans. Like, how excited are you?
Yeah, it's awesome. I can't wait. Got a ticket. I think it also does more than just this one game, right? It kind of like gauges interest for the potential moving into the city. It's like there's only so much you can do as these leagues are building and gaining momentum. People have to understand, and I was talking to Madison Packer about this too, that like the WNBA has been around for 20 years, right? We need stability in the PW and we're building that. And it's like Rome definitely wasn't built in a day, but it was burned down in one. And maybe that's happened sometimes with these women's hockey leagues, right? So to take a more careful approach and like, it doesn't mean it's going to happen tomorrow, but like to gauge interest is important to get kind of investors interested in moving into Boston.
And that's such a great point, Sara, because again, these are huge games in markets that already have teams, but maybe are looking for different venues. And Shayna, you mentioned New York's attendance reaching new highs in their current venue, but now selling out the Garden. I mean, obviously it's because the Torrent are coming to town, but no, anyway, what does it say for, again, the PWHL, but then maybe what can this do to help continue to grow the presence there? I thought that was an awesome observation from Sara.
Yeah, it feels like, that game, the Sirens play the Charge. Not only did they deliver on the ice, and that has, a lot of ups and downs for New York this year, but you could see the energy in the building, and I'm sure it helps the players too. Like, so to have that excitement building now to this moment, which is huge. And like, it was not easy to get tickets. We were trying to get tickets for like a group of 10 of us, and I literally could only get 4. And I was like, sorry, friends, like I could not, it sold out. It's so exciting. And even before it sold out, you could see just like the immediate interest. So it's a good way to see like, okay, maybe the Sirens should keep playing a couple games in New York because they've had a lot of ups and downs with their arena. And, from now they're at the Prudential Center, but before that they had it where they were playing some games at UBS. And, like when we missed the chance to go to a UBS game, like we had plans to and something changed, it was like, now you have to go to New Jersey. And it's like, not that daunting, but kind of. So it's like, if you could see, hey, if you play a couple more games at MSG, the interest is going to be there. I think that's great for everyone because, this sport, if you watch it live too, like I feel like it's so much more infectious and so exciting.
Totally.
So you go there, enjoy the vibes of the crowd, which are going to be, I feel like so much more enthusiastic than like the normal game at MSG, unless you're like going to a playoff game too. That just adds another element
happening.
To it. Exactly.
Sorry.
So it's just like, it's something that's been missing.
Yeah.
In that building, I would say for hockey for a minute here, considering how the last couple of years have gone, it just feels like it's a whole different energy. So it's an exciting time. And I think New York is showing like, hey, they can work in this market. And maybe here's the tweaks that can be made to make it better, in the long run, because there are numerous venues you could play around here.
100%. And I said this on air last night too, but like, I know so many people, especially since the Olympics, who have gone to their first game, and mainly Torrent games, obviously, but like everyone comes back and they're like, A, so much fun. B, such great games. Like if you have the opportunity to go, my friends, seriously, try and check it out because it is just such a vibe. Like the atmosphere is such a vibe. If you can't get into a game, or maybe there isn't a game coming to near where you are, well, guess what? In addition to always being able to watch games on YouTube in the US or going to the pwhl.com to find broadcasting partners if you're in Canada or elsewhere, on March 28th, the Detroit-based takeover tour game between the Sirens and the Victoire will be nationally broadcast in the US on ION. You can check for channel listings if you go to iontelevision.com. But I want to actually get your thoughts on this because I am not a YouTuber. Whatever, judge me, that's fine. But I love the YouTube viewing experience for the PW. Right. I don't necessarily need it on TV, but I understand that is so important from a revenue and a bigger access perspective. So it's super cool that this is getting a national broadcast. That's amazing and so important. But Sara, thoughts on this? Again, it's not bad, but it's good, but it's great. I'm just kind of like, but I still might watch on YouTube.
Oh, well, and Packer like was talking to me. I mean, now she's broadcasting in the PW2 and she's a legend of the
Killing
game.
it.
Yeah, she was just talking about how like the YouTube accessibility makes this like it's one of the best things the league has done because it's like, oh, I just watched these women in the Olympics, right? And now
Right.
I can just and my grandma can watch it on YouTube, right? Like it's actually one of the easiest in a world where you have to go to Fubu, Tubi, whatever the hell they're all called, like whatever it is, like it exhausts me and I'm
Yeah.
supposed to know this shit. So like I literally can just toss this on YouTube. It's been such a win for the women's league, and it shows in the numbers too. So that's great.
Shayna, to that point, though, it is also a huge win to be on a national broadcast. If you're in Canada, there's a lot more coverage. There still needs to be more. Don't get me wrong. But if you're watching, intermissions, on Sportsnet, they are putting in PW highlights. They're talking about the games. Those games are part of national broadcasts up there. But how important is it, in all sincerity, for this national broadcast on the U.S. side?
It's huge because, yes, YouTube is great. I think, honestly, our problem is there's so many streaming services and then everything gets so complicated. So the simplicity
Agree.
of just turning on a game on YouTube. The only wins, I would say, it would be YouTube or like ESPN Plus, where you can go for men's hockey and you can go for NCAA hockey that you're like, okay, that's the hub. But other than that, it just gets too complicated. But even with all the streaming services, it helps to have an option on cable. You're flipping through the stations, which people still do, and you land on that, you're going to watch it. Like literally, I could tell you right now, like between my two parents, one of them is going to go, okay, the game's on YouTube and put the app on. The other one's not going to know what to do. But if he's flipping through the channels and go, oh, there's a hockey game, he will stop and watch it. And that matters because you're trying to make it more accessible for the fan base you have, but now you're trying to reach further out to different people and market to different people. So you're going for younger fans by having that streaming option. You're going for the more traditional fans in markets by having them on those regional sports networks, right? If you're on, was it FanDuel Sports Network in Minnesota or on MSG in New York, like you're doing that already. So now go even broader. That's exciting. And here it is, you're going with Marie-Philippe Poulin in a game. Great, one of the greatest hockey players of all time.
Word.
It's like that's a great entry point, especially after the Olympics, because that's a household name at this point. It should be even here. So
and Kristina Kaltenkova is no she is going to shake things up. I'm excited.
And there's that Olympic storyline right there of who injured her knee. And the last time Montreal played New York right after the Olympics, Poulin didn't play. So now you're going to see it even more. I feel like it's a very good choice, as imbalanced as the two teams are in the standings, right? Like there's enough storylines to make it interesting to have a big market like New York. So I think it's a good step forward. Is it perfect? No, it's not going to be. But here's a network that supports women's sports in general. And if you're a women's sports fan, you know you can go there to watch the WNBA, to watch the NWSL. So why not add something else to it? I think it's a great move.
Yeah, it's super, super awesome. So check that out if you're not in a market where a team is playing. We wanted to give a quick shout out to an effort that happened this past Sunday, which was, of course, not only daylight savings time, but that was, of course, International Women's Day. Now, we get pissed about a lot of things. I don't think this was intentional, but it is ironic that the shortest day of the year is, in fact, the one dedicated to honoring women. So the PW did this really cool thing where the players who were playing on Sunday, who usually wear number 24, which is Vanessa Upson, Ann Cherkowski, and Natalie Spooner, changed from 24 to 23 as a reminder, and I'm quoting the PWHL here, as a reminder that when women get less, the answer is to give women's sports more. And it's a call to action to donate $23 to help girls get in and stay in the game. There are links on the PWHL's social media channels, but I don't know if you guys could see it because I didn't love that when there's only two PW games on the same day, they start at the exact same time. Nonetheless, Natalie Spooner talked about this initiative, and this is one of my favorite things about women athletes is that they're just so real. And Natalie was so clearly connected and informed and passionate about this cause and this action. And Sara, you just came from that panel where this is about continuing to try and make space for the non-white man in hockey. And I don't know if you saw Natalie's talk or anything, but I thought it was pretty cool that the PW would kind of dive into this as hard as they did. I mean, did you see any of it? What did you think?
It's not only an awesome and kind of funny idea, right? It's also how to connect a like we need hockey to like literally start from ground zero of like how can we connect something happening in the world with hockey and then with an initiative that actually benefits something and is working towards something, you know what I mean? So it wasn't like someone just tweeting in Spanish on a Heritage Day, right? It's literally like here's something actionable you can do and here's an idea we had that's near and dear to our hearts and a lot of women's leagues are great at modeling this because we get shit done, right? Like we were going to get shit done in the 23 hours. That's why they made that day 23 hours for us. But I thought it was great that the league is doing that and just kind of like it's refreshing to hear women who are athletes speak.
Have you guys seen it's going around on socials? My algorithm is delivering it to me, but it's a Reese Witherspoon speech. I don't know where. And she's talking about how in movies, so often there's a scene where the woman lead looks at a man and says, "Oh my God, what do we do?" Have you seen this?
Yeah,
And then she looks at, then they clip to like all these like movies where that actually happens. And then Reese looks at the audience. She's like, "When have you ever heard a woman just look at a man and go, 'What do we do?'" It was amazing. Shayna, I have an idea. I think we have the funds to cover it. What if we give 23 times 3 to support this effort from Too Many Men?
Hell yeah.
Okay. So can you take care of that for us and you'll post the receipt to tell the people?
Yes, I will.
Okay. Bless. Love that. All right. Sick. Okay. One last little tidbit that, as we all know, I am hyper irrationally invested in year after year after year. And that is that the NCAA Women's Frozen Four regionals start today. We are recording on Thursday, the 12th. So they start today. And can anyone tell me who the overall number 1 seed is this year?
Would it happen to be a college that is in the state of Ohio?
Yes, it would. Shayna, which one?
The Ohio State University, of course.
We don't say the. We just say Ohio State University.
Oh, wow.
That the is stupid. That's dumb.
Oh, okay. I was like, don't they say that? Don't they say that on like?
They do, but
they do. We don't. Okay.
If you try and trademark the word "the," it's unacceptable.
It's so dumb.
It's so
no, but if you liked watching Olympians, who could you watch on Ohio State from Team USA, Alison?
Joy Dunn, Shayna Goldman,
the star, one of the million Duns. The million Duns who 99% of go to Ohio State.
As is tradition.
But again, check that out. You will see some other Olympians at that point. Layla Edwards, KK Harvey, they're all going to be out there. So check it out. Watch those games. These are a little harder to find and a little harder to follow. We don't always get good stats for this situation, but pay attention, people. These are the next up and comers, both in terms of the international stage and also the PW stage.
And watch on ESPN.
If you're passionate about stats and you're trying to get into women's hockey, why don't you make some stats? Not make them up, but try to like
vibes per 60. How can we measure this?
Make a like little yeah, exactly. Measure the vibes per 60. I don't know. Be the change you wish to see in the world.
Stop. Someone's going to start tracking like entries. They're going to be tweeting us like the entries from the game. And we're going to be like, yes!
I would celebrate the shit out of that. That would be so good.
I know it'd be so good.
All right. That's all the exciting stuff that happened in hockey. On the men's side, there was a trade deadline. And we have decided, rather than trying to evaluate all the trades, because most were underwhelming, we're going to look division by division. We're going to pick a winner team, a loser team, and our favorite move if we have one in that division. And I'm going to pull up a cheat sheet for us. I only recorded NHL moves. So some of these trades involve some minor league players, and I didn't have time for that because I was busy. So, but while I pull that up, Sara, you wrote an awesome piece with one word for each team. Just kind of what is your overall vibe check on this year's deadline?
I mean, we should have saw it coming, right? With the CBA changes that happened. Like they expedited some CBA changes for this season that the new CBA kicks in next year, but they said, we're going to make this trade deadline as fucking boring as we can because we can. So you can't do double retention anymore. So you can't have like that third broker that teams love to figure out as a loophole. And so
you would have had to make a trade by December 2nd.
Right.
To use
Yeah.
that for the deadline.
Which is why, like, you see that they were creeping up earlier and earlier throughout the past few years. And then, of course, it's like teams are just kind of focusing on their own players. And then there's like the new playoff salary cap. So, like, where you have to kind of like submit the list of like whatever. It's fucking annoying. But all you need to know is the new changes kind of made it harder for GMs to make trades. And GMs cannot do anything. So, why could they even do something harder? Like, how could we expect that of them? So nothing really happened. And I'm not shocked about it, but I am disappointed.
Shayna, just an overall thought before we dive in.
Yeah, it's the new changes and the old decisions, right? Like all coming to a head at once. And it's the decisions to hand out no movement and no trade clauses like candy. And I don't blame any player for pushing for that, but I feel like in years past, we've seen that more as a negotiating tool. Like if you're getting that no trade clause, you are not getting as long of a contract or your salary is coming down. And I feel like with some free agents, it's like, here, take everything. And then you see those issues. And I'm not saying guys like, say, Artemi Panarin getting a no movement clause when you are the top free agent on the market, one of the rare, elite players, or even a Robert Thomas, you're a core player, an elite talent. You should have those clauses. But when you see those second line centers getting them and that third pair defenseman getting them, like if they're on a 1 or 2 year deal and they're older, right? Like if you're Claude Giroux signing with Ottawa and you're signing for 3 years and you're like, I want a full no movement clause, I think that's a good conversation to have. But it's that mid range. There's way too many of them.
Yeah, it became way too many men. It became a lazy way for GMs to be cap compliant, to throw some, like, not have to like overpay, even though often it's an overpay and no movement clause. If you look at that, it's like them giving up. But also, if you look at other leagues, like the NBA has no movement clause, but it's literally like Kobe, LeBron, not even LeBron anymore, used to be LeBron, like MJ.
Right.
It's like these three people, and then another random guy that I forget.
Now it's everyone. It's literally everyone. And even if it's like, well, I'll only go to 10 teams and then it's even more complicated. It's just like, why can't you move your players? Well, your past decisions came back to haunt you when things are already restricted enough. So like, will anything change? Who's to say?
All right. Are we ready to dive in?
Yeah.
I think I found a new feature as we shared our big picture thoughts. Let's see if this actually works. Oh
my God.
Wow.
Would you look at that?
Oh, all right. Let's see if I can make it a little bigger. Okay. So here we go. We're going to start winners and losers. Now, I was tracking dates. Welcome to my madness. Some people have already seen some of my madness and you're seeing some of it in the tab. So ignore me. Anyway, Sara, the Atlantic division was the division with the fewest, again, NHL player moves with 11. You can see who took what, who didn't do anything, and where they came from. Who's your winning team in the Atlantic?
I have to go Red Wings because they did something and that it really does make sense. Like, even now, I know Justin Falk, like, is what he is, right? But they have such a young blue line, and he automatically comes in and he's the second highest scorer on their blue line. They need kind of that transition. They need more of like a power play anchor. He's been around the block. He knows how to do it. And I think just kind of an older player that isn't 97 is good for them.
Oh, always a good plan. Hold on. I'm going to clean this up because, again, it's the year of 2026. There we go. Okay. Shayna, who's your winner?
Okay. The Buffalo Sabres are the winner of the last week.
Let's go.
Very excited.
Who could have seen that coming?
Who could have seen it coming? Okay. Listen, did I like their deadline? No. Did I like that they tried to make noise, right? With the attempt of getting Robert Thomas, I was excited. I loved the idea of Colton Parayko in Buffalo. I was like, that is the player that can solidify this top four. I was very high on that. It didn't work out. They went back to the drawing board. Do I think Luke Schenn and Logan Stanley are the move? No. Luke Schenn is way past his prime and really struggled in the playoffs last year. And Logan Stanley is a lefty. Even when you look at ignore some of the warts in his game, he is left-handed. I have an issue with that when you already have a top four that is all lefties. That being said, vibes are impeccable. This team is hard to play against on a nightly basis because they're better defensively. They're good at jumping out and scoring first. A lot of offense, and they'll kick the shit out of everyone that comes to Buffalo. And I love it for them. It feels like such a new era. And that game last Sunday was
Oh,
unreal. Game of the year.
Hell
Everyone's talking
yeah.
about it for good reason. Can't get enough. It had literally everything in it. So the Sabres, the fact that they are buying is a big deal. The fact that they are trying to make moves and showing like, hey, besties, there can be palm trees here. Look how much fun we're having. I'm all for it.
I also agree that Buffalo is the winner, even though they kind of got shunned mostly for the vibes, because I think it's exciting that, as you said, Shayna, Buffalo is finally like in it and doing something. And Detroit, my gosh, here they go and get pieces. And then now Dylan Larkin's out. What did they say? Minimum 2 weeks,
Yep.
I think just came out. All right, Sara, your loser. And again, it can be someone who's not on this list as well. I guess everyone did
Yeah,
make a
because
move
it's
though.
the
Ignore me.
absence of.
Oh no, and not two. Okay, go ahead.
Oh, I don't know if anybody else won in my eyes. Like, I don't know. God,
So this is who lost. Did anyone lose? Any team?
I think every team lost other than the Red Wings because it's just like nobody did anything. Like, I really don't know.
That's a good answer. We accept that.
I'm like stressing out because it's making me annoyed at how bad this deadline was. Like,
Yep.
I think, I don't know. Like, I really don't
It's all
think
good.
anybody else did anything good.
That's fair.
I appreciate you're both committed to a narrative. Shayna, do you have a loser?
It's like I was contemplating putting Detroit
Oh,
because I'm very happy they did something, but the month of March is not kind to them, and it has not been kind to them to start. They don't look good, but you know what? There's a bigger loser, and we gotta talk about them. The
damn it. You're
Toronto
going to
fucking
steal.
Maple
Oh,
Leafs.
oh.
Okay, yeah.
I mean, to spend a first rounder on Scott Lawton and get literally nothing in return for him, it feels like they just shot themselves in the foot this year in every which way. They built this team the wrong way. The coaching has not changed. So add that to the situation. I just feel like it's bringing down the vibes. And I get it, you want to tank and get a better pick at this point, right? Like, what else do you have to lose? But I just don't think that they've set themselves up for success enough at this. I think they should have gotten more for Bobby McMahon. And I
No, they
think,
shouldn't have. That was
well,
brilliant
yes,
negotiating.
They already were,
brilliant.
yeah, that was already the narrative that they couldn't get a first rounder and they didn't even try.
Yeah, and it felt like there weren't, especially with the fact that Blake Coleman didn't move, like there weren't a ton of utility players available that like he's someone that's so valuable to a playoff caliber team, unlike the Leafs. So it just feels like every situation was mismanaged. Like Nick Waugh, they got a lot for. Congrats. That is the one. That was a very good trade. But I just feel like they didn't do enough here. And I don't think the vision is there. And I look at them and I look at a couple other teams and I go, why are you letting this general manager run your deadline? Because I think it's going to set you further back in the summer. And I feel like the Leafs are very high on that list. Other teams are. We'll get there, but they are very high on that list.
I'll say for Lawton though, like they got him with term and then they kind of didn't, now it's a rental, but they shouldn't have ever used a first rounder on him. And this
No.
management is just like extremely problematic. And it's more like I will call them losers for their years worth of moves leading up to this too.
Okay, I thought you were going to steal mine, but you didn't. Because the obvious loser, Tampa Bay, if you bring Corey Perry onto your team, there's
Oh,
no
yeah.
one who can
Okay,
win a
yeah,
cup.
I was gonna go for that, but I'm glad you did.
Yep. It's like he could be the right fit and still have game, but why'd you do that to yourself?
I
He's
mean,
cursed.
literally, you
At this
ruined
point,
it.
you have to believe about the bad juju.
They literally won back-to-back cups. He was on the ice on the other side. You bring him in, and then you lose a cup, and you go, "That's the guy we got to bring back." Great point.
You should know. All right, let's move on to the Central, one of two divisions to make the most moves with 14. Sara, your team that won in the Central.
I mean, it's the Avalanche. They always do the most simple thing that they needed. And you're like, oh my God, like everybody else is like, I can't do this. Like, and they're just literally gonna get They need centers. Got you too. Like, we're gonna bring the guy that won the cup with us back. We're gonna bring Nick Waugh, good depth, right? We're gonna do what it takes to win now. Granted, I understand like other teams didn't have kind of the assets to pull this off, and it's like, guess what? Colorado was smart and did. And also other teams are kind of like they're not. I don't think with McKinnon and McCarr they're anywhere near like the end of a window, right? But like they're kind of the team, like there's some decisions to make moving forward, and it's like they're the best team in the league right now. So why not make these moves now where like the Wild will have a few more years to cook? So I understand, but I think the Avalanche won this.
Shayna.
Okay, to be different, I'm going Utah.
What?
Yeah, let's go.
I really like the addition of Mackenzie Weegar. I know his game has declined. I think he's going to bounce back away from Calgary. He's not going to be the number one there. I think they needed someone steady, and I think he has all of this all around game. Like it's like you could see where okay, his breakouts have become a little risky, but it's like, but no one else is doing that in Calgary. In Utah, they have a better system there. It's not just going to be on him, and I think that's going to help him like, settle back in. The fact that they did not move a single first round pick to do it, the fact that they bought was a good sign too, because they've looked close the last couple years and haven't done enough at the deadline. To me, I feel like he's the right complement to their speed game. Do I think they should have gone for a center? Yes. I don't think it was possible with what some of the teams were asking for center. So I think it was good asset management knowing this is the moment to spend. And the biggest part of it is if they can hold on to wild card one, which this is going to give them a better chance to do, they get to play through the Pacific Division. So I think it was very smart to make a move because they could have just played on their heels and been like, it's fine. We've been here all year. We're probably going to hold our spot. No, you need to guarantee you get through the Pacific because you don't want to go through the gauntlet that is the Central.
1,000%.
Yeah.
All right. Just to be different, even though I have 1,000 reasons to hate this team right now, purely for the vibes, and I'm being a sap, I love that Nick Foligno went to the Wild to play with his brother. And I love that narrative. And I do think in a shocking turn of events that's never happened, Minnesota is actually exciting to watch play hockey. So I will begrudgingly cheer for the Minnesota Folignos. Sara, you're a loser in the Central.
Dallas, I mean, you'd thought they might have done more with Sagan on LTIR. I will say, like, they already tweaked enough, and I kind of like what, you know what, maybe I'm talking myself out of this. I like what Bunting can provide, but it's just like hard to anticipate. It just stinks like the way the seeds are set up, where like they're gonna eat each other alive, and you have to just like do everything.
See, and here's my counterpoint though. I'm not ready to get all fired up about the seedings yet because I also would rather have two great teams at full strength.
Oh,
right? As full strength as they can be versus your.
Oh my God, you have the Marek take.
All right.
Okay. I'm just saying. All right, Shayna, who's your loser?
It's a good point. Like, we're going to get a banger first round.
Yeah, I care about my.
And we're going to get a banger second round.
Which, okay, here's the only thing that sucks. Okay, I want teams at full health, but as we all know, trying to watch all those games is fucking painful. So that will suck.
Yeah.
But anyway, okay, Shayna, who's your loser in the Central?
I'm going to go Nashville. I just think it's such a disaster there. It's like you can knock the Blues for not trading their big guys, but I think the fact that they got first round picks for Justin Falk and Braden Shen, guys that I don't think will retain their value as well as a Kyrou and a Thomas or potentially Pariko would, you go, okay, there's still time. And also there's going to be like a change in management, but at least they still did something. I look at the Predators and it's like, well, you're also going to have a change in management, but you didn't do anything to set that next manager up for success here. Sure, you have guys where Jonathan Marchessault and Steven Stamkos can exercise their no trades and no movement clauses, but like maybe there was a way to make a trade if you could have found the right partner. And with Ryan O'Reilly, he doesn't have a no movement or no trade clause, so you shoot yourself in the foot by not moving him.
They had a handshake, no trade, no move clause.
I mean, what are we doing here? Because if you move Ryan O'Reilly, you have a better chance of getting everyone else to move. And you look at Nashville, and they're just going to keep spinning their wheels. I think they move out guys like Blankenberg, and you're like, you didn't get enough. And then, yeah, they get too much for McCarron because you're trading with the Wild. but I just feel like they haven't done anything to move the needle in either direction.
But
And
maybe this is the time it works.
yeah, right? Maybe. And I get it. They're still in the playoff race. And at this point, you're like, okay, screw it. Go for it. You have a chance. But it's also like, do you? Are you consistent enough? Like, it just feels like they make the moves at the wrong times.
Hmm. I I am torn. I was going to go with St. Louis mainly because I think they've done such well, maybe the culture already sucked. Who's to say? But I
Yeah.
think in revealing clearly how much the culture sucks, however, there's a change coming in GM. So maybe this is setting up for a next new wave that is good, but I'm not going to pick them. I'm going to pick Winnipeg because it's not even about the action. It's just the symbolism of the thing. And like they go from being at the top last year to just, they're not going to make the postseason, arguably. I mean, people say there's a chance, blah, blah, blah. But I just think they're directionless. And this is kind of a signal of that. And there was no real intention and we don't know what the plan is. And
Is there ever a plan?
and there's a fall from grace.
Is there, like, honestly, is there ever a plan there? It feels like they're the most passive team ever.
And I have to hate their goaltender now, who I'd loved for years. So I'm mourning that. So here we go. All right. Let's move on to the Metropolitain. 12 moves here. Sara, your winner.
My winner is, I would say, I am going to go like fucking nothing happened. Islanders, right? Like as maybe as confusing as the moves are, I can kind of see it. Like you're stacking up for the playoffs, right? And you're kind of after Lou was so stale. Like I'm just glad that they're doing something after Schaefer's like amazing season, right?
Shayna.
I'm gonna go Pittsburgh because they didn't have to do much at the deadline because they've had a good year of trades. Kyle Dubas has cooked the entire season. Go back to that Skinner trade. They get rid of Tristan Jarry. We're hearing all these problems developing in Edmonton on and off the ice, right? Everything's chaotic. Meanwhile, he gets Kulak back, flips him, gets Sam Girard, gets draft picks in the process. So you're still furthering the rebuild. You get younger with Girard. Skinner has been playing well there. They're still in the playoff race. You're not doing anything to take apart what a successful season they've had with Crosby and Malkin this year playing lights out. Why not? Like you acted all year. The one GM who just consistently was making these moves while everyone else was so quiet. Every time it's like, oh, there might be trades. And it's like Kyle Dubas like, all right, I got a trade to announce. Nobody else wants to. I don't think they had to do much here. And I think that's the win because if you're going for the playoffs, you use the deadline to tweak your roster, not overhaul it, because you have to overhaul it. You're probably not a contender.
So you're saying that it wasn't the goaltender's fault in Edmonton? This is a shocking development. I'm surprised.
I mean, listen, would I want Stuart Skinner as my number one?
No.
No, but would I have kept Skinner and gotten him a more reliable backup or someone who could become the 1A to his 1B? Yeah, that's what I would have done. 100%.
All right. I am going to, these are slim pickings, people. Let's be honest.
Like, painful.
But here's an angle that I am watching happen here in Seattle. So I'm going to point this one out. I'm going to pick the Blue Jackets because I'm going to say they get a player with term who has scored, what is it now, like 806 goals in his first 3 games after going double-digit games in Vancouver without a single point or whatever it was.
Rescued him.
Literally. Also sneaky that they did this earlier and he's able to play because with the trade deadline on Friday, this is impacting some players' visa because they join their new teams on Friday. But then guess what? The US government and every other government is closed Saturday and Sunday. So your visa process basically had to start Monday. And, now you have teams still waiting for their new players to join them on the ice. So I think the timing of it helped as well. And if that tells you the state of things in the Metro at the trade deadline. Oh, shoot. You know what we forgot to do, guys? We weren't doing favorite move in each.
We can hit those at the end real quick.
Great. Okay, perfect. Because I think if we had to talk about the Metro more right now in terms of the deadline, we'd kill ourselves.
Losers.
Oh, losers. Yes, thank you. Losers. See, I'm all discombobulated. Thank you, Sara.
There's many to pick from.
They're all losers. Sara, losers in the Metro.
I'm going to say Hurricanes just because it's like this seemed like the time. I understand that the sellers had the market and it was like high asks all around. But I think, hello, like it's your opportunity to get out of the East past the Panthers, and like you're not getting that scoring. You need to get some guy to score for you. We know this. So you've been doing this for years. You just go for it.
Mm-hmm. Shayna?
Okay. I'm torn. I could pick the Rangers, who are
I thought
perpetual
you were
losers.
going to. That's
But
who I was going to pick.
No, I'm not going to pick them. I think they're perpetual losers. Let's not think I'm saying anything kindly about them. But I have to go with the Devils. Because that team, unlike the Rangers, should have been much better this year. There's no excuse for this team to be as bad. And it's like mismanagement over the summer drags into the season. And then all of these players are available. Relationships feel like they're down the drain completely. Like whatever's going on with the Dougie Hamilton situation when he's one of their better defensemen, then it's everyone's available. Okay, you're going to make some moves. You're really going to change things. And nothing happens. This team has not done anything to move the needle. And similar to Toronto and similar to the Rangers, I look at New Jersey and go, maybe you need a different voice leading the way. Maybe you don't want that leading this deadline. But it just feels like the Devils, unlike the Rangers, could have made a move or two here, reset for next season, and, like started the year off strong. And it just feels like they set themselves back by doing literally nothing.
Yes, I agree. I picked the Rangers. No BS. That's
No
all I got.
BS.
No BS. No blue
No
shirts.
soap operas, no hockey, no nothing.
All right, let's move on to the Pacific. This was the only other division to have 14 moves. And perhaps that is a reflection of the fact that I think, depending on the day, every single one of these teams except Calgary is potentially in or about to be in a playoff spot, depending on how things go, especially when we have 200 million games on every day, including Thursday after we had, what was it, 2 yesterday? Because that makes sense. Sara?
Bangers all week, and we can't watch them. Thank you, NHL.
Honestly. You know who we have to blame, and this is becoming more relevant, is the damn Olympics. This all would be better in many ways. Anyway.
Yeah, but then I go back to the NHL schedules and go, why didn't you start the season a week early? What are we doing?
Well, listen, I do still think there's a chance that in 4 years they contemplate that, because this is based on nothing anyone has said to me, but I think the players even are like, this is ridiculous.
In 4 years, they're going to be contemplating a lot of what they did in that locker room.
Shayna, your winner out of the Pacific.
I'm going to go with the Ducks. I love the addition of John Carlson. It was such a shocker to me. Like, I did not expect him to move, especially because the Caps aren't fully out of it. But their defense is a journey. I'm sorry to Dostal on a nightly basis. You watch the passes they allow, the rush chances they allow, and it's like when they start getting better, it just crumbles again. Okay? It's funny, like, you hear the conversation about the Ducks earlier in the season of like, oh my God, are they the best coach team in the league? No, they are not. But are they exciting and fun offensively? And then their goaltender has to save their asses? Yeah. And they just leaned into it further. So good work with that. I think John Carlson's going to be very good for them. I think that they don't have enough offense on the right side of the defense with Trouba and Gudis there. I think this helps. I think Lacombe has been cooking lately. So you put the two of them together or spread it out across the top four. I think it's going to make for a more exciting product. I think they're going to be worse defensively. And you know what? I don't give a shit, because the Pacific Division is so flawed at the top that I just want exciting hockey, and I feel like we're just going to get chaos from them on a nightly basis, and I'm here for it.
Sara, winner?
I'm going Flames. It was a seller's market, and they won the selling. They got multiple first-round picks, multiple high-round picks after that. They unleashed some of these some of the last contracts that they've had to, and they kind of, you could tell they were working down to the wire with the cadre to the
Avs.
Hello. Oh my God, my one brain cell is still recovering from fucking daylight saving time. This kills me the older I get. But yes, to the Avs. You could tell they were negotiating, and that was a steep price for him right now. Like, that was the job well done.
This whole discussion is just depressing, isn't it?
I know.
Such
when the
such a
sellers
year.
win. Like, that's
you know what? You're so right.
And now you hear the off season's going to be so exciting. Is it?
No.
Are we sure?
The answer is no. Sara, I agree. I think that there weren't each of these teams, what they were needing was a big fish. And the only team that arguably landed one, and it was just enough outside the deadline, I didn't put it on here. It's on my list, but not as a deadline move, is Artemi Panarin to LA. But like, that's not going to fix them. So I'm with you. I would think Calgary as a seller, making the most of being a seller is the win.
And I can't even give the Kings credit for that because
no,
literally like, I'm going to Los Angeles. Then they
100%.
probably tried to fuck it up somehow.
Sarah, who's your loser out west?
I think I don't want to say the Canucks because like they did get a good haul on Quinn Hughes and that was from a while ago, but they could have, I mean, and I also like Pettersson, it's like I feel like I have this conspiracy that he's actually trying to like sabotage them by like getting, it's like he has to try to not get shots on goal. And it's like before he can be traded, it's like 5 games in a row he has 0 shots on goal. God. It's like one of the most ridiculous things, and I kind of respect it, but they couldn't trade him probably because he's not doing right now. Like I get it, but they couldn't do anything for Besser. They didn't get unleash Evander Kane. It was just like so many moves that they didn't capitalize on, knowing the context of the market.
I love the new verb of unleashed. This is perfect.
Yeah, that's like the thing that's coming to mind right now as we're going with it. I guess you would unleash Evander Kane.
I'm going to jump in the order. I'm going to go also with Vancouver because not only could they not make the most of the assets they had, then your general manager comes out and basically sinks any remaining value of those assets by saying we got no offers for them, for Bluger or for Kane. And it's just like, oh dear God. And, you know, again, we get tons of Vancouver takes out here, but like they're still not set up for a proper rebuild yet. They still are going to have to shed some of these players that they couldn't already move at the deadline. And who wants them? And that's not, I'm not shitting on the person themselves. I'm just saying like this whole thing is tragic. And like they were literally debating on Halford and Bruff the other day. Like, should you just trade Pettersson away, EP40 away for literally nothing just so you don't have to retain? And they were all like, absolutely. Like that's how bad.
Yep. Literally, because they have done it to themselves, like you said. And it's making me wonder, does this GM actually know how things work? Like, he keeps doing this.
Also, maybe it's just because it's louder in Vancouver, but how many times are you hearing management turn the keys over to the agents to make trades happen?
Yeah. Literally, it's like, does he know he can pick up the phone? I literally don't think he knows.
Is it because you gave out too many clauses and you're stuck and now you can't make deal? Like, I don't get to trade Connor Garland before the extension even starts.
Well, this is also more too, like, this is a situation, at least in my mind, and I'm truly not close enough to know for sure, but like we hear from the POHOP as much as we hear from the GM, right? So like that's hard. If your boss is always up in your business, like,
yep.
Anyway. It's like blatantly dysfunctional and we can see it through things like that. It's just ridiculous.
Shayna, who's your loser?
I'm torn because I could say LA and go back to their summer moves, but it's not their fault. Fiala got hurt because Fiala Panarin, I would have been like, go for it a little bit, especially in the Pacific. Go for it a little. You have one of the easiest schedules ahead. Go for it. No, I'm going to go Oilers because I can't help myself but talk about Stan Bowman. And it goes back to the goaltending situation, the overpayment for Tristan Jarry, who they committed the rest of the Connor McDavid era to. And they went for stoppers. And I get it because I do think Jason Dickinson is a good player and will have value there. They don't have a bottom six center who could just take on big minutes. And I think Connor Murphy, the way he defends the rush, he's right-handed. You're going to be able to limit Nurse's minutes. Wellman's going to play his natural side. Like, there are ways this all clicks, but I still have scoring depth issues for them. I get it. They're scoring a ton of goals, and everyone points out, but look, they're scoring so many goals. Yes, they are. But Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl are doing everything here. Like, you need a little more in that middle six. Listen, Bestie Leon is cooking, and that's fine, but no one else is. And it just feels like a missed opportunity year after year in Edmonton. The goaltending situation is somehow worse. They're so top heavy, and you go, let's attach a first-round pick to get rid of Andrew Mangiapane, who you signed over the summer for multiple years. And it's like, we keep seeing these wingers come in, and on paper they fit, and then they don't. And I get it, right? Like, we thought Arvidsson might be pretty good there. It didn't work out. Mangiapane has the speed. But, like, the money and the term that gets handed out, Trent Frederick got 8 years. And then you go, well, you don't have much money to do things. And then you go, but you could take on Tristan Jari's salary. What is happening here? It's just year after year.
To speak to your point, Shayna, it's like Stan Bowman wants to just like absolve his own mistakes and is thinking about himself instead of like the window of Connor McDavid's bridge deal right now. Because the Mangiapane thing, it was literally to be like, okay, I fixed this. Where it was really like, we need to like not think about yourself. We need to think about Connor McDavid, please.
No, he's like, I drafted Colton Dock. I must have
Yeah,
him back.
like
I know Connor Murphy. And while it's like, that's a good edge, you're still like, can you do anything else here?
literally.
All right. This discussion has depressed me so much. We're not going to pick favorite moves because there are none. I've decided there's too many men.
I couldn't even. Too many men doing nothing.
All right. Let's wrap this one up with it's been a while. Our favorite game, except for John and Steven. And that is, of course, oh, by the way, it's Steven and my anniversary today.
Oh my God, happy anniversary.
Can't believe he's still putting up with me. Here we are. It is everyone's favorite game, Fuck, Marry, Kill. And as is tradition, Sara, you will go first. And it seems fitting. This is another reason why I wanted to get to this game, that as we just shredded the Pacific for a lot of either bad moves or no moves, your Fuck, Marry, Kill today is which team wins the Pacific? Sara, your choices are Vegas, Edmonton, or Anaheim, the three teams that currently hold the top three spots. Vegas, Edmonton, Anaheim, FMK, the Pacific Division winner.
Killing Edmonton, Jari, what more can I say? I don't think they're going to not make the playoffs. I do think they're not going to win. So that's kind of where I'm at. Unfortunately, I'm fucking I'm not gonna make this joke, okay? But I am fucking the Golden Knights, and it's not because I want to, it's because they have lost in overtime so much, and it's not my fault that these are the rules. I don't want this to be the rules. Had they not lost in overtime so much and got a loser point, they wouldn't be in this position. So let's talk about that next time we're talking about the CBA, right? Where are you, Marty Walsh, please? But they're gonna be, they have a chance, unfortunately. And I'm going to marry the Ducks. I really think I love where they're at right now. I love how they multiple times throughout the season have kind of climbed back from adversity, which is like the Ducks have been a really fun and intriguing team to watch for a few years, but like they can never just like get some consistency. They never can bounce back. So I think now we can trust them.
Shayna?
Okay, I'm going to marry the Ducks for all the reasons Sara said. I think the offense is clicking again a little bit more consistently. And like, I think with John Carlson, it'll get even better. And they have the easiest schedule of the three ahead. So they should be able to do this. And they're trending in the right direction right now, unlike literally everyone else in the Pacific Division that it's like, okay, you in theory could do this. I will fuck the Oilers. They have that tie break of regulation wins over Vegas. I think that's going to
Wait, there we go.
Yeah, I think that's what's going to bite Vegas, and the fact that they both have goaltending issues makes me think, okay, Connor McDavid's going to do something ridiculous to just be like, I am going to be the home seed, and I've had enough of this. So he's going to do whatever he can. That he's going to literally, they're going to drag Tristan Jarry, who will be starting more with Connor Ingram. He is backing up tonight, I believe, but like after that incident with McKinnon, and then I'm going to kill the Golden Knights. I just. They're a weird one to me this year. There's a lot of like strange things with Vegas this year that I feel like they're not playing up to their, like the
100%.
power play is amazing. You lose Mark Stone. It's like they can't figure out how to keep up that going. And Marner at center, I think, is exciting and fun, but I'm also like, you're seeing the injuries and they were quieter this year. They only went for Rasmus Anderson, really. You're like, okay, sure, that's different. And the goaltending is just not good. So I'm gonna kill them.
I had not done enough. I can barely keep track of my own schedule, let alone all these other team schedules. But Sara, controversial take by you, given that Anaheim is the only of the three with a negative goal differential.
I know, but guess what? That's how much I love them. Okay. And I feel like that's because of their defense, not because they aren't scoring goals. You know what I mean? Like
Valid,
that's
yeah.
because they're a young team and this defense has been atrocious at times.
Okay, so handicapping, I'm going purely on the team itself. I've not done enough work on the schedules. This is on me. So you two are more informed. I'm already deferring that these will be the worst takes of the three of us. But because of goal differential and because of exactly what you just said, Sara, I think that we have seen Edmonton's a perfect example that offense alone can't get you to the highest highs. So I'm going to fuck Anaheim because I think they still have a chance. I think they have more of a chance. Dude, this is why because I'm with Vegas is weird. So I'm going to kill Vegas, and Mark Stone's still hurt, and like they just seem weird. They've lost 3 in a row. This seems odd to me. And because the Oilers just know how to destroy people's souls and always seem to find a way, by default, I will marry the Edmonton Oilers. But there we go. All right. I think we've covered the deadline. I think we've covered the fact that the P-Dub is just popping off. You should all be checking that out as great hockey. In addition to the men's side, the women's is just doing some insane, awesome things. It's time to plug in if you haven't already. It's also time to plug in to us. You can connect with us on social media. We are at 2_much_man on YouTube, on Twitter, on Instagram, on Blue Sky. We are 2_much_man. You can always get our merch. We've got that new bucket hat out there. You know you want it if you haven't gotten it already. You can find that at toomanymen.printful.me. Maybe Shayna will be giving us a new drop here soon.
There's more.
Oh, what?
There's can cups and there's tote bags.
People, you heard it here first. We will be donating a total of it's $69.
Let's go.
Nice.
I wouldn't have it any other way.
$69 in support of the efforts that the PWHL is initiating to support women in sports, in support of their jersey swap on International Women's Day from 24 to 23. And we don't need you to give money if that's not the position you are in, but we do ask you to consider to try and find a way to every day try and do something, no matter how big or small, to make absolutely positively sure that hockey is truly for everyone. We will talk to you soon.
Love you.
Bye.